I would say that learning what I've learned from experience in healthcare in Canberra, in particular the Capital Chemist Group, has disgusted me to the point where even if I were healthy and had my health back, I would not be doing any work for them. It's not a great leap. It's almost now cliche that a Catholic priest turns out to be pedophilic. Calvary Hospital isn't exactly lined with religiously neutral emblems or logos or attitudes in stuff. It's more believable to these people despite saying things like medical science this, medical science that. Yet it's more believable to these people that when Jesus was murdered, I mean, their story, once they look into histrionics, is at best the story of an ancient kingdom keeping its political face shiny after the atrocious era of a ransom, kidnap, suicide, murder, crown of thorns for mockery, and loincloth for pre-mortem cockery. Hide your shame, hide your shame. But it's more believable to these people that during this murder, a bunch of saints, recognized or named saints from the Old Testament, got up out of the graves physically after being corpses that weren't zombified or suggested to have been zombified even after being centuries dead in the case of some of them, and reunited with their previous family members. And these people would rather believe that happened, that these dead prophets from the Torah, the Jewish Torah, got up out of their graves and went, oh, it's my great grandchild, than to entertain the notion that the two men that own Capital Chemist, and more proactively Roger Toll, is a sexually perverted, deviant, sick, pedophilic pred, who tries to invoke the authority of empirically infallible medical scientific insight to tell and accost other people's offspring and to assign them a sexual orientation. And so that's what's fucked about it. The beginnings of this bullshit inspired me towards DJing in the first place. It wasn't just a case of having the opportunity to learn to DJ. And the person who got me the first DJ gig, I had differences with, even though he was considered, or my mother would consider him, a long-time family friend. I eventually fucked my own gig at that club, and then from then on worked on my own, which was much more sensible for me. This was a person whose friendship was a bit blurred with psych purchasing interests. Was alluded to in various ways then, not being clear or precise enough or constitutional. Was the dividing line. I actually thought in Gavin's case that's kind of fucked. It's kind of fucked if you'd go, well, you're considered a long-time family friend, so I'm going to try and undermine and do a deal with Roger Toll and Gary Cairns. So yeah, a bunch of bullshit miracles. The embellishment of a ransom, kidnap, suicide, murder that you pretend is a biscuit that you eat on Sundays, adorned with the lies of plagiarized pagan religious stories of dying and rising savior figures, going as far as 1500 years or more back prior to the historically credited approximate time of the birth of Jesus, -4 CE to 0 Common Era is when it's considered to have approximately been born. So you watch they get an interest in psychology, thinking it's amazing, when really it's just a bit more technical and logical, on top of religion and anything that's edifying religion. If a natural disaster that was too much for a community to do anything about, like I mean, we had bushfires where we had communities getting together and putting them out, but if the phenomenology of a natural disaster were too big for any citizen to do anything, you would have every theologian cheering, thinking, just thinking, now it will be any second now. It'll be any second now, and he'll be here. Those on planes, if the pilot of a plane is not a converted Christian, then all of the Christians on the plane will teleport magically to heaven based on pre-Copernican flat maps where the Earth had 4 corners, and the plane will crash, but the Christians will beam into an eternity. And that idea too is more plausible and believable to these people than a childless, gutless coward with raised capital and technological resources, such as Roger Tall, is a filthy fucking pred who should be in jail. I never heard him say anything about stem cell research, but I suppose that's because the cells haven't divided enough yet to form orifices. He probably couldn't penetrate stems. Well, maybe he could get in between the stem cells as they were dividing. He could even tell himself he was giving them space while being a sexual guide and a sex god. But the guy's got no fucking manners. The only reason I don't talk out and post. There are people I know in this suburb who have spoken to me in ways that I could come and have a bitch about them online, and yet I wind up making spoof fun fuck around videos with them and been friends with them. There are people who have fractured my skull, and I'll sit and be friends with them, and then it's not taken seriously when I say these two men are fucking disgraceful. Their Freemason religion is fucked. It's fucked in the head, and they mistreat people. The less defended you are, the less guarded, the less fewer family members you have around, the more they feel inclined and interested to zone in and be predatorial. That's who those two fucking men are. I'll move to finish what I have to fucking finish, but with the bulk of content I have already posted, it is not going to look or sound good for the reputation of private sector in the Australian Capital Territory, when what I have to say is ultimately ultimately accomplished in a country with a constitution that has more utility than for the treatment of diarrhea stains. I even find the dispatch favorite question of theirs is golden rule rank. Do you intend to harm yourself or someone else? As if it's the same fucking question. There are plenty of people I'm aware of that can do what they want. as far as they themselves, their person is concerned, relative to the principle, and have no interest whatsoever in harming another. And where are you when other people harm them? Nowhere. But then they want to ask you this: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Loaded fucking question. Like, it's equivocal. Self-harm and harming another person is equivocal. There's your Muslims strapped with dynamite. There's your golden rule. It's fucking retarded. The openings of a dialogue is a usurpation of an individual connotative to the principle. So what I am against is, and I've been against church for long enough, but I'm against even more and more offended by health care officiates masquerading, bringing or imposing their religion on another person in the pretense of a health service, or of offering a health service. In doing so, they introduce problems where none exist before, while ignoring real problems that do exist. And how funny that happens when they fucking think that the prophet Isaiah and Noah and Moses and fucking Adam and fucking whoever else all got up out of their graves and rehearse the scene for the prequel to The Walking Dead, and reunited with their family, their descendants and family members at the time of the crucifixion or the resurrection in the Gospel of Matthew. Whoa, how amazing! And your morals come from this. Whoa, how amazing! How amazing! And none of you have heard of post-enlightenment morals, and you shriek at reading the Constitution of Australia. Wow. Wow, how amazing. So yeah, it is no secret. Whatever I've done that has been outlandish, I haven't ever made a secret out of. I haven't changed that over the years. If you want evidence, the Masonic belief in Jesus as a martyr means that if a Freemason now thinks that they've caught a martyr, that they feel morally justified in blackmail, because their overall or their larger goal is the catching and detaining and recorrection and re-education and re-enlightening of a martyr. So on that basis alone, which I've alluded to in a number of previous posts, but on that basis alone, they do feel morally justified in blackmail. But they like to design what they do so that it caters to the Christian audience, because, yeah, their religion is it's a bit of a dance around as far as Christianity goes in many respects, but that isn't to say that it's a good religion. I think Buddhism is an alright religion. Buddhism has a lot of ideas about mindfulness that don't require positing the existence of theistic beings, or have Gary Cairns and Roger Toll lunged in debates about how they know how to spot gay people because their god comes from a Sumerian and Mesopotamian god merged into one, which will account for why you find that Genesis chapter 1 contradicts Genesis chapter 2, and giving you two completely contradictory accounts of the order of creation, or two different stories of Moses delivering the Ten Commandments in the Pentateuch, or whatever the first 5 books of the law and the prophets are called in the Old Testament. You often find that happening throughout the Old Testament. Oh, there's 2 versions of this. There's 2 versions of this. So, yeah. They're out spotting homosexuals, armed and equipped, with a religion that you're too underclass and underprivileged to even fathom or be a member of. But they did let a woman in, as they let a fat woman in. And all she had to do was put her heart into it. So, well, I've heard Roger Toll and Gary Kansas' workplace sex banter. It's not like she could have put any other prominent organ into it. Though, you know, that's the way that churches like that will probably do. If she's put her whole heart into the Freemason church, maybe she can get an echelonic promotion by putting her puss into, Gary while drunk singing "Hey Jude" to his wife Judy, which was a song, because it wasn't really a song written for a boy. It was blah 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 blah. That shit goes on too. You can listen to the testimony of ex-Mormon women who escaped the Mormon church. Talk about, we'll share this secret with you. Just spread your vagina open. We'll teach you. We'll teach you some amazing. They're more important secrets than the Christians could ever hope to fathom. Just, you know. Fuck when I say fuck. And that's that goes on. You get very angry listening to the testimony of ex-Mormon church escapees or Muslim and Islam escapee women that have to have bodyguards all the time. And since the right to health is so importantly related to the right to life, I don't understand. I'm more inclined to say I would appreciate American criticism of posing the question, why is it so essential that there be no separation of church and heart rate. And anyway, that's the most I have to say with a headache and 1993 Will Smith records playing. Code Red.